Municipal Court for my hearing on, for my trial on the municipal tickets of weed possession and possession of paraphernalia out of my July 12th stop for non-registration and no plates. So the officer wrote in his arrest report or in his incident report that he saw a psychedelic sticker and observed nervousness. I told him that I have anxiety and nervousness, and those are pretty widespread issues for people, especially when dealing with police, and making a unusual behavior suspicious is too far. This is the sticker that was on my dashboard. That does not give reasonable, articulable suspicion that there is any kind of contraband within the vehicle. The officer extended the stop for a significant amount of time to get the canine officer from 20 minutes away in Iron Ridge, Wisconsin, to come out. And when Libanowski arrived, the chief of, it turns out, Iron Ridge, not Horicon, as I thought, or Mayville, as Attorney Pleer advised me that chief was from multiple times. He's actually from Iron Ridge. I believed that I was with a direct supervisor of the officer who was violating my constitutional rights by extending this stop and searching after the canine indicated. The officer looked at personal papers within the vehicle, did a deep dive looking through everything inside of this vehicle, which I told him is where I live. It is obviously camper van and kind of messy, but there is indications that this is not just a vehicle, but a place for somebody to call home. And so in Florida versus Jardines, the expectation of privacy in a vehicle versus a home versus what an open air search can be was further ironed out, and they found that on a house there's a curtailment, which would be like the end of the lawn to the sidewalk, which is a semi-private space. So the police trespassed to go onto a porch to bring a dog up to sniff at the door to indicate that there was the smell of a contraband item, in this case marijuana. That was found to be, the concern was that the police, by bringing that animal with enhanced abilities to detect something and establish probable cause, normal people can come up and knock on a door and they aren't doing anything more than what police could do. And police can do no more than what a person could do without a warrant. So touching the hood of a vehicle to see if it's been recently running by walking onto the driveway does constitute a search without being invited onto the premises any information gathered is arguably poisoned fruit. So um, that is an important concern in today's trial, and the issues of somebody who lives in a vehicle having less protections for privacy, as well as the fact that people who appear to be vagrant are at a higher risk of receiving an intervention by police. And police are legally allowed and able to, quite able to lie and misdirect people on what responsibilities they have. Such as after I had told them, both officers, several times that I don't answer questions and I have no further answers to questions, since I did not specifically invoke an attorney. They were trying to pressure me into speaking to answer about a social security card that was found within the van. And I was detained. I had a de facto detention by being placed in front of the vehicle during a search in front of the officer. So I had every reason to believe that I was detained in front of the superior of the offending officer. If I had known that these constitutional violations were happening without a supervisor present, I would have called for one and had a proper uh, system of checks and balances available to me at that time, but I didn't. Um, when I finally was released, it was after they had been trying to get me to incriminate myself on operating under the influence, which I was not. And if they had reasonable suspicion and probable cause, they could have conducted searches and a further investigation at that point, but they didn't. And they knew after I had said that I have nothing further to say without an attorney that um, they were at risk of losing qualified immunity and protections by operating outside of the constitutional rights. And additionally, in Wisconsin, while marijuana is illegal, hemp is legal, as well as Delta 8. Dogs are not able to differentiate the odor between a legal substance, which was hemp was made legal in the 2018 Farm Bill. And so that is legal all around. And so an animal that is not certified, trained to distinguish only prohibited items, I do not believe satisfies the parameters of being able to establish probable cause, because it's not probable that the only substance in possession of a person, especially within their home, is uh, certainly not hemp or Delta 8. If that dog was trained not to indicate for any kind of terpenes, which is what is in marijuana and hemp, If that dog only alerted for cocaine or heroin or methamphetamines, then it would have more force. However, the fact that it alerted to the smell of flour um, is um, an insufficient. I don't think that the proper context is satisfied. If there was another substance, then they could have plausibly said that it was a different substance which the dog alerted on. However, possessing less than a gram of marijuana and a little one hitter pipe um, is not uh, something that we need this kind of um, consequences for. 12 or $1,321 for the possession of less than a gram and $691 for possession of paraphernalia is so excessive, and it's prohibitive for somebody to do better. Municipal violations are either nuisance crimes or um, they're pursued as a misdemeanor or a felony under the Wisconsin Criminal Code. Um, since that is not what happened, then this really shouldn't be something that people have to put so much effort into. In Wisconsin, at least, maybe other places, you don't even have the right to discovery in a municipal trial. So I had an undue burden of getting evidence from the Horicon police. They said that I have to pay to get a copy of the body cam and dash cam from that day, which I have now, and I'm going in to pay the tickets that I pled no contest to under what I feel was a dishonest process. When I went um, in August to plead no contest to to the possession and paraphernalia, I thought that it would be all or nothing when I came in to plead, or at least that I would have my plea in front of a judge. But the municipal clerk had us write our plea on a piece of paper, unless we were pleading guilty or no contest, and then we would go before the judge. But I was called upon my return to home to ask if I what I wanted to plea if I wanted to plead no contest to the other two, since I didn't specifically object to them, and I said yes, to pleading no contest, which I was caught off guard. Obviously, as somebody who's been through the system, and I have footage from a discussion I had with the attorney yesterday where um, I would say that he uh, implied that under normal circumstances, I would plead to the two regulatory issues for registration and have the other two charges dropped. He offered to give me just the paraphernalia ticket, which I'm not going to pay $691 for if I don't have to. If they're going to find me guilty, then I want this to be something that actually gets tried in court. Too often, through plea arrangements, parole violations, and the involvement of child services, police are able to extrajudicially apply pressure to people to not protect their rights. In my case, I'm not on probation. I don't have kids. And from what I understand, the worst case scenario is that I receive the full amount of tickets and possibly court costs. But we need to have these sorts of things tried before judges because there need to be proper protections for the homeless. Um, Homeless people are disproportionately marginalized. Um, there are just so many obstacles in life that we don't need to have this shit. So I am about to go in. Um, Please tune in later. I'm about to put in the Freedom of Information Act request and payment for those records. So please like and follow so that you can see this information when it comes out. If you can share this, I would greatly appreciate it. My only protection in all of this is to put transparency on the process. I can't afford an attorney, and I have hopefully good enough wits to uh, represent myself in the stead of any kind of actual protection, which I think that the system should be more transparent and navigable by the average citizen, because if it is too tricky for the average person, just like taxes being too complex for the average person to competently file, then these processes need to be revised and made better for the people because the government is supposed to represent the people. Thank you, and always remember to preserve your rights. Now let's see if I can figure out how to turn this off. Yes, done streaming.